What's up, beautiful souls? Your boy Loon is back with another video, and today we are back on arguably one of the worst forums I've ever found on Incel.is. For those of you guys that don't know, Incel.is is a forum where an incel community kind of talks about things. And before we get into this, I want to establish, because I know some of them, one way or another, will make it to this video and watch this. I don't want to incite any hate on these guys. I understand that a lot of them are going through a lot of stuff. And honestly, I wish them the best, and I hope that they find help. And they honestly all kind of need a hug. Majority of the guys on the actual forum, if you scroll through, are too bad. They're just going through, you know, forms of loneliness and things like that, and it causes them to say certain things. But some of the guys on this forum are actually decrepit human beings that are terrible to society. And I'm gonna do my best at mitigating what we look at, because we're obviously on YouTube, and some of the stuff I'm gonna have to blur just because this forum is that bad. But yeah, I just wanted to say that because I don't want to incite anyone to, you know, just downright hate on these guys, because I genuinely wish the best for everyone who's watching this video, whether you're an incel, whether you're a lady, or whatever, you know. We're just out here reading this and reacting and honestly getting a different perspective on their way of looking at life. And I'm just going to give my 2 cents. But yeah, anyways, before we get into this, if you guys like the live streams and want to be a part of the live streams, we've been doing 1 to 3 every week. Make sure you guys follow the Discord in the link in the description box. Also hit the subscribe and notification bell if you enjoy a video like this and you aren't already subscribed. Anyways, let's get into this. All right, so we're going to crop it like this just because some of the guys' profile pictures and names are just not going to be allowed to be on YouTube. But anyways, this thread here, the title says, "Humans are not social creatures." And so this guy says, humans aren't social creatures. They're cold, calculated transaction machines wired to whatever and manipulate each other out for clout, status, and survival. Every interaction is a brutal exchange, a zero sum where a Chad, Stacy, and even betas play to exploit and dominate. Relationships, just a cope, a facade to mask the black-pilled truth. We're all in a Royal Rumble. Hey, the Royal Rumble goes hard. Chill out. Fighting to climb the hierarchy by any means necessary, deceit, or straight up betrayal. Look, so I honestly feel bad for this person, because if they're looking at life in this way, it means that they probably have just seen so many terrible things, whether it's in their lives or on social media. That's why sometimes social media can be really bad, because your algorithm feeds you what you think you want to see, right? And what you will be willing to watch. And so a lot of these guys, they get into this black pilled, red pill culture, and they think the world is just terrible. Everyone sucks. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people out here that do suck. But I'm going to say there are more people. I would put a gamble that there are more people that are decent human beings than there are just downright bad. Now, I will say a hard majority of people are selfish in nature, because we are supposed to be selfish in nature. But being selfish doesn't exactly mean that you're a terrible person. That just means you care about yourself. And you also, like, to an extent, obviously. Now, if you're selfish to take away from others downright, that's evil, right? Of course. Humans are totally social creatures. That is a completely inaccurate take. We are arguably the most social creatures on planet Earth. I mean, him even talking on this forum is also a form of showing that we are social creatures. Now, the whole transaction machine and stuff like that, like looking for clout, status, and survival, do not get me wrong. There are people out there that are poopy people that just live to ascend the ladder, 100%. But I have met more people in my life that are genuinely living in their own bubble and just having a good time in their own lives. And so I think this way of thinking is very narrow-minded, to assume that everyone is like this. And I'm not going to deny that there aren't a lot of people that are like this, but I mean, maybe in like LA, certain areas, there's probably more concentrated areas. But in the area that I live in, most people are just having a good time. All right, I'm going to keep this By the way, I have to keep my frame here to cover certain words, so I'm gonna keep it like this so I don't have to blur yet. It says, picture it like a cage match. Every normie, Chad, or Stacy, it's so funny because like one of my best girlfriends' name is Stacy, steps into the ring of life with the eyes locked on their prize, status, resources, or validation. There's no connection or bonding. That's blue pill nonsense. So this is going back to his idea that relationships are a cope. That is insane. And you know what? I feel bad for this person. They're probably watching certain things on social media. I would put a gamble that they are, because what you see online and what you see in movie, or like not even movies, but like online and in certain little scenarios where you see outside in public, where you think that, you know, oh, in Miami, like girls just like guys for money and stuff like that. Like, and they believe that relationships aren't connection and bonding. It's sad to see, because I have in my life had amazing connections with my previous ex-girlfriends, and you know, that could be blue pill nonsense. But to me, I don't know. I mean, would it be blue pill nonsense to say that they were an important chapter in my lives and we connected and bonded and honestly grew me as a person a lot, tremendously. And I know a lot of these guys, they say this kind of stuff because they never really had a relationship. And so I understand from their perspective, they're only saying whatever they see. And it's hard to fathom. But what I'm saying is, believe it or not, there are people out there that are genuinely looking for relationships because of the connection and bonding you can gain from someone. Like, honestly, like, it's not all about physical. It's not all about money. Sometimes it can be. Don't deny it. A lot of these things are generalizations, and I believe people are so nuanced. There's gonna be so many people that view things certain this way, and this way. But anyways, let's get back into his statement. Sorry, I'm gonna get into a lot of tangents today. It's all about outmaneuvering the other guy, using whatever tricks you've got. Betas fake confidence to seem high value. Some guys do. Stacy's wield their SMV, or cuddling market value, we'll say, to hypergamy their way to the top, and Chads just mog everyone effortlessly. The goal, survival of the fittest, where only the top dogs walk away with the belt to pass your genes. Okay. So this statement, the survival to the fittest, I will admit that there is some validity in this, but it's not in the way of this OP's thinking, right? Of course, life has always been try to be the best that you can so you can achieve the best that you can. It's just the way the world works. Think about why celebrities usually date celebrities, just because most of the time, a lot of normal people can't relate to their lifestyle and stuff like that. And also just there's so many layers to it, right? Now, what is to say that if your goal is to be in a relationship with a woman, right, that you love and want connection or bonding, to counter argue against this guy, why would you not want to build your own stats and to be the best version of yourself, to be at the highest top dog, as they say, so that you can pass your genes and all that and so forth? I don't know. I just think that what this guy is saying, and I hate to say it, is a form of coping with the way that they are thinking. Because instead of actually trying to gain some self-confidence, build your own stats, they say these things instead. I don't know. That's just my perspective. I could be looking at this completely wrong. But anyways, we are going to blur this next part. Apologies in advance. He says some words that I have to, maneuver around. We cope hard with this social creature myth because it feels better than admitting we're just ruthless beasts. Small talk at parties, a low tier status play to network or flex. It can be, but it can get to deeper conversation as well. Fake smiles on dates. See, this is why I think this person is just seeing stuff online. Looks maxing to secure a mate before they branch swing to a better option. Some people, shallow people, yes, 100%. That is a way that shallow people would look, but not everyone's that shallow. Every word, every move is a calculated transaction, a step towards securing your place in the pecking order. From the second you wake up, you're scanning for weakness to exploit. Normies play nice to avoid being ostracized, and it's all a front. I'm sure there's someone out there doing that. I don't think it's like majority that this guy thinks. You're either mogging or get mogged. Okay. In the dating market, I don't even know what that means, by the way. In the dating market, it's brutal. Stacy's trade their youth and looks for Chad's resources and genetics. See, that's another mentality that is terrible with this community. They think that every girl is just here for resources and genetics, and every guy is only here for youth and looks. Is there people out there like that? Leonardo DiCaprio is alive. I understand. So there are people, 100%. And there is, I'm going to say there's a big minority, maybe like right in the middle where this can be somewhat true in, but there are so many people that do not look at just looks and youth in women and resources and genetics in men. And I'll establish right now, I as a man do care about looks. Of course I do. Why would I not want to be with someone I don't find attractive? Do I care about youth? Not really. That's kind of weird. I don't really look at that. Do looks and youth go hand in hand? Not, to me, it correlates, but it doesn't causate. So I've seen some women that are older than me that look gorgeous. Would I date them? 100%. And so I don't think the youth thing makes sense. Looks, yes, but that to me is also like one of my bare minimums. I know that sounds like really high to say, but like I think a bare minimum is for me to be attracted to them. Now everything else also matters. Oh my God, I think they need to have resources. They need to have things that I would want, ambition and adventure. Like so many things into dating, because I view myself as someone who is a prize, and so why would I not want them to be a prize as well? Anyways, I'm gonna continue to blur this. Don't worry, I'm gonna unblur in a little bit. You're either right here it says, while betas get orbiting in hopes of scraps, cuddling, a straight up exchange, emotional labor, time, or provisioning for temporary intimacy. Both sides are running a metal t-shirt, weighing if the juice is still worth the squeeze. This is why I fully believe this person has not cuddled, or at least had good cuddles, because anyone who's had good cuddles, and I'm talking about with a partner that you really care about, it is so much more than all that. It is not temporary intimacy. I mean, on paper it is, but there's so many feelings that gets developed after something like that. And emotional labor is crazy. Time and provisioning. Like, brother, what are you even talking about? It is arguably one of the best things in the world. I'm just being honest. Even like with someone that you're not super intimate with, it's still great. But with someone you're intimate with, it's even better. All right, I believe this part I can unblur, thank God. Friendships, pure cope. You align with people who can boost your status. See, that's not true. That's an LA mentality right there. That's if you're out here just being a clout goblin. What? Dude, I'm friends with my friends of mine that I grew up in the neighborhood 20 years ago. More than 20 years ago, actually. And those guys, I mean, I'm not saying in a bad or good way, but they do nothing for my status. None of them are like YouTubers or anything like that. Like, they just live their own lives, and that's cool. I actually enjoy that because it gives me a different perspective. Offer indicators of interest, IOIs, or give you something, career plugs, social proof, or a shoulder to cry on when you're black-pilled. Hold up. This guy's acting like a shoulder to cry on is a bad thing. Or like, not a bad thing, but like, he's downplaying it. You know how important a shoulder to cry on is? You know how hard it is to find people you can genuinely just cry with? Yeah, like, I'm blessed to have people I can cry on their shoulders. The second they stop serving your cuddling market value, you ghost them like a used up Tinder match. Even families, a transaction. Yeah, I can tell this guy's had a rough go around, because he's really looking at life in a poopy way. So even families a transaction, I don't believe that at all. Parents raise kids expecting a return, someone to wipe their A when they're old or something. What? How is that? Okay, on paper, if you think that's transactional, that's fine to me. You're telling me my parents who sacrificed 7 years, or my dad's who sacrificed 7 years of his life in a refugee camp. They struggled, grinded their booty off just so that we could have food on our table when we were living in a 1-bedroom apartment in America. Like, you think I'm not going to take care of them when they're older? What the hell do you even mean? If you're not going to do that after all the sacrifices that some parents are shitty, but our parents have made. Like, you're just a bad person then. What? Kids learn early to manipulate, playing the poor me card to milk resources from mom and dad. If your kid is learning that, that is terrible. The workplace is the ultimate black pilled arena. Betas grind, scheme, and backstab for scraps for clout, promotion, raises, and a pat on the head from their boss. Some workspaces, like some corporate work ladders, can be like that. Brother, there are a lot of jobs outside of corporate. I hope this guy knows that. Managers, they're just Chaz and Stacy's in suits, sizing up who's worth keeping and who's a disposable blank. Yeah, this part's true, because as a CEO or boss, why would you not see who's worth keeping in the team? That doesn't make any sense. You're running a business. Why would you want someone that isn't gonna be of value at all to your company? It's a hierarchy where everyone is trying to get blank or avoid getting blank, while pretending it's teamwork. Probably is not a good analogy, but yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm gonna say out of all the things he said, the most accurate thing is the workplace thing. If you're working in a toxic work environment, then yes, I agree. But not in a lot of work environments. Also, there's a lot more places than office environments that you can work at. In the end, humans are transactional beasts and not social creatures. The black pill strips away the cope. Every interaction is about self-preservation, about climbing the ladder by stepping on others. Humans are effing fake AF. Humans like to backstab themselves in the back while wearing a smile on their face. The human civilization was built upon lies and false promises, and show how dangerous and fake the humans are. This post is black-pilled because it rips off the mask of humanity and exposes the raw primal truth. See, that's the thing about this black-pilled thing. It's so, what is it called? Narrow-minded. It's not even looking at how humans can be vastly different creatures. Everyone is so much different than everyone. Like, what? Now, is there commonalities and certain people who do the things that this guy said? 100%. But are majority of people like this? Freak no, dude. Are you kidding me? I mean, if you go out in the real world and you just start dating, or you just start like actually talking to people, you'll realize it's not like this. This post is black pill and ripped off, blah, blah, blah. We're not here to hold hands. We're not here to mug, manipulate, and survive. The tone is harsh. The slang cuts deep. So next time you're chatting someone up, remember, they're not your friend. They're your opponent in a brutal game of status and survival. It's a PvP arena. Get ready to fight dirty, because in this life as life, the rules are simple. You're either blank or blank. It's over. What? The next person I'm chatting up with, they're not my friend. It's survival. That is insane. Like, what? All my friends have never, well, I'm going to say this. Obviously, they get perks from being my friend. I get perks from them being my friends. But are you going into this friendship looking for these perks? No. Anyone who does that is actually sociopathic in a way, if you think about it, by definition, right? What he might be he might be a sociopath. All right, we got another one here. It says friendship with girls. They keep telling me, you have to make friends. Maybe you'll meet others there and make friends with them too. You never know. Maybe one of them will accept you. Yeah, right. I have to make a bunch of friends, waste who knows how much time with them, and then get nothing but a flat no in return. See, that's the mentality right there. That's the reason why you're probably not making good friends. If you're thinking about every single thing as a transaction in life, you're not going to gain anything in life. Because think about those guys, the clout driven, just everything, political people. Yeah, literally, they do everything. Those people suck. Why would you want to be that? I have friends who I genuinely just like to talk to. Whoa, might be mind blowing. All right, so this guy says, I'll just say no thanks right from the start. If I'm interested in a girl and I feel like I want to get to know her, I'll go straight to the point. I want you to be mine. That's fine. I'm okay with that, as long as you don't, if she is consensually okay with it too, and you don't act upon anything stupid. But that's fine. Like, to let a girl know straight to the point, hey, I want you to be my girlfriend. There's nothing wrong with that. If I see that she rejects me, I move on to someone else and I don't care about the first one anymore. Honestly, completely fine mentality. I will say, I will add, I mean, not caring about them is kind of like brutal, because I mean, like, if they rejected you in a very respectful way, I'm still gonna care about them as a human being. I'm not gonna be their friend or anything if it's a girl that I'm not friends with initially. And actually, sometimes I do develop friendships out of girls that I originally had pursued, actually. So I don't know. That's a tough one, because that's a gray area. There's a lot of, like, it just depends on the situation. But so far, okay. I'm okay with what he's saying so far. She might as well not exist in my life anymore. Hey, if you deem someone who rejected you as a poopy person and you don't want them in your life anymore, to each their own. It won't make any difference for me that moment on. Okay. I'm not a very social person anyways, so for me, it would be be frustrating and a mess to manage all those friendships. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're not social and you don't want to make a lot of friends, that's okay. But that doesn't mean you should view friendship as just transactional. If a girl is interested in someone, she will show it right away at first glance. Sometimes. I'm gonna argue that's not always, though. You don't need to dig deep into her head to find out she's interested. If she's interested. Yeah, sometimes. Okay, if not, nothing. Even though most girls around seem like zombies, they don't seem interested in anyone or anything. Well, that's just proof that your ending statements were flawed, because some of these women are interested, or believe it or not, they're going to be interested in someone or something. It's just they could be as antisocial as you, for say, right? Like, is it baffling and mind-blowing to believe that women can be a lot like us in the same way that this guy is saying, oh, he's not social, he doesn't want friends? Maybe the girl is the same effing way, bro. And that actually would mean that you guys are a match, or could be, you know. I don't believe in such things as friendship between a man and woman. I did speak with a couple women in friendly manners in my previous job, but then again, they try to use it for their own benefits. Okay, I'm sorry to this guy who has had that experience, because then that's going to obviously make him deem women in a bad light. There are people out there that are poopy. Guys and girls will do this. Like, I see it as phonies, and you can see it pretty fast, but I know some people are different. All right, we're going to have to blur this one. Sorry. The title of this one says, most female that rhymes with oids are extremely average. All right. Oh God, this is one of the usually reoccurring posters. The world we live in today is one of a pucked society who overinflates females, we'll say that, looks to a ridiculous degree when in reality, most females are very much average. Average is such a subjective terminology though, right? What you deem as average is going to be what is different from what I deem as average. And then also what you deem as attractive is also going to be different than me. We also have different preferences too. So this already flaws your argument. The world we live in today is one of a blank society who inflates women. I mean, if your social media algorithm is showing you just the most baddies and stuff, then of course you're gonna look at the mentality like this. Same with girls that have their algorithm, which is a bunch of hot dudes. But the reality is most people don't look like Instagram models and the people that you see online. And also, most people don't even look like that in person, the actual models and stuff, because they're posting the best pictures and sometimes even photoshopped or like filtered up, you know? So of course, in this guy's mind, he might be like, oh, that just means average. But you gotta find out and you gotta realize that there is beauty outside of social media. Even many of these so-called attractive female celebrities that blank simp over, that, you know, simp over, are simply average or ugly. And that, hey, brother, if you think they're ugly, that's okay. I'm not judging his standards by any means. There are certain celebrities that I think is average, 100%. But there's a bunch of celebrities that I think is hot AF. Like, who's that girl that was in the new John Wick spinoff? The ballerina movie? Ana de Armas. Bro, I don't care what anyone says. She is fine AF. And on top of that, she's 37. So their little flawed argument of like youth is, yeah, that's stupid. She is so beautiful, bro. All right, anyways, I digress. He continues, it says, though, of course, given normies' lack of critical thinking skills, that's me. I'm a normie with lacking critical thinking skills. And you know what? He's not wrong. So I do be kind of dumb. They can't see that all these women, wow, derogatory term, wear makeup and use filters that give a facade that they are more attractive than they actually are. But brother, yes, I believe it or not, we do know that. I do know that women wear makeup and use filters that give a facade. That's the whole thing I was saying. Like, yeah, if you look online, this is how I could tell this guy is just online and social media. Because believe it or not, when you go out in the real world, there are plenty of women that look beautiful with makeup and without. It's kind of crazy to think about. Fun fact. Also, I don't even like too much makeup on a girl. Anyways, that's just my preference though. It genuinely seems sometimes normies just dismiss the fact that these female wear makeup and the amount it overinflates looks. And then someone says most derogatory term are sub 5. Well, yeah, the whole point of the word average means that you're in the bell curve of average. So most people are in the bell curve of average. What? That doesn't even, like, statistically speaking, the terminology for average is what you guys just said. I don't even know. It just doesn't even make sense. Why would most people be above average? Then that would raise the average. Or why would most people be below average? Because then that would lower the average. And then the average would be a new I don't know. Maybe I'm just stupid, guys. I don't know anymore. All right, this one says you have to be 5'8" or above to donate sperm. And then someone said it's over. Is that true? Yeah, 5'8" and higher. That's interesting. Some places 6 feet. But how does this affect LeBron James' legacy? No, but seriously, like, how does this affect me at all? Like, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. This doesn't affect me at all. Like, I don't know why they care. All right, this one says, I rarely even ever see attractive men, quote unquote. All right, this will be the last one we look at.
I don't know if this is just me, but like I rarely ever see attractive men out anywhere. Not that I even go out that much at night, but when I do, I never see any. Or even just like day to day, like out and about, like I never see anyone attractive. And I'm in New York City, but I see pretty girls everywhere, beautiful girls everywhere, every day. I'll see pretty girls. Like, is it just me? I don't.
I'm gonna see it from her perspective, and then I'm gonna give a counter argument, and then we're gonna read his statements. So from her perspective, women are prettier than men in the areas that she is in, right? Like the ratio is 100 pretty girls to 1 attractive man. Have I lived in cities where that's true? Yes. Wilmington, I might say Charleston, New York. Yeah, New York. New York's 50-50. It depends on what area of New York you're talking. Because New York's so big. Certain areas, yes. Certain areas, no. And then also, have I seen areas where there's more attractive men than there are pretty women? Fun fact, yes, I have seen it. It's less than the women thing. But I also just think that's because women are just like more pretty. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe I'm just a straight guy that's just like thinks like that, but I don't know. That's just my perspective on it. But if you know, she could also just be very picky too. There are a lot of picky women out there, and there's a lot of picky men out there. Then the guy who posted this says, yet another delusional derogatory term, who with an overinflated ego and overweening vanity. Now, is her ego pretty high? Maybe it is her ego. He could be right about that. I'm not 100% though. I am honestly sick and tired of these despicable creatures. Oh my God, brother, how is her, what? Okay, it says sick and tired of these despicable creatures and their brain dead takes. It is truly absurd that anyone thought that this was the sense in granting them rights and what? Granting them rights and the ability to openly express their nonsensical takes. She literally says 100 to 1. According to her, attractive men are mythical creatures, whereas attractive women are everywhere. This aligns with the idea of women considering the vast majority of men as... How are you going to speak for women? What? I've met so many women that... You know, it's baffling to me, but sometimes women will say that I'm attractive, and I'm like, really? But it be like that, bro. And then like, dude, how are you gonna speak for women? Like, what the fuck do you even mean? This doesn't make any sense. And only a small minority are seen as average, let alone attractive. Yeah, some people are picky, bro. What? What can you say about that? I'm picky as fuck too. You can't make this up. When rating male faces, women cluster most of their... Yeah, but also, like, not all women date pure for vanity like men often do. That's not preference, that's rejection of the average man as a baseline. Meanwhile, look at the male ratings of female faces. It's a bell curve. Men are way more realistic. We see beauty across the spectrum, but women, it's either Chad or something. Yeah, but I would like to see a counter. Even if this statistic is true, right? I want to see a counter statistic on how much men care about attraction versus women. Because then, like, or physical attraction, sorry. Because then that's also a factor too, right? I can't show you guys the rest of this, but I will read it anyways. Aside from the clear bias is how attractiveness is rated without any enhancements to looks, there are other factors to consider, such as makeup, which can further inflate their looks and reinforce the idea that they are far more attractive than women. That is true. I will say what he said right there with the makeup thing could be true. Guys can also boost their stats. I know it's crazy, but like you can work out. I use makeup sometimes, very rare, but I'll use concealer for whenever I have like really bad pimples. I'm not gonna lie, I use it. Also, when I was on TV, I had to use it. And what else? I've used. I use height enhancers, like the little like boosters in my shoes. Adds like an inch or two. Not gonna lie, I use them. I'm not ashamed of it. And then he also continues and says, this last one I can't show. So let's not forget about the absolute irony here. This female has layered of makeup on her face and is at best average. What? She's average to you? I don't think she's average. I think she's above average. I don't know. We might have different perspectives. I don't think she's average. I would go on a date with that woman is what I will say. She sees herself as a beautiful goddess. Yeah, okay, now if she thinks that she's like at the top of the food chain, then yeah, she's not my type, because then I don't like too cocky. Yeah, considering her looks match a lowly, worthless creature unworthy of her time. What a joke. What is wrong with people having standards and what? Like, it's like, you have to date me and everyone. You shouldn't have any standards because you're a girl. Like, that doesn't make sense. Brother, what? Yeah, I digress. We're going to end it on this note. I love you guys so much. Again, if you are an Incel.is member, I am not trying to bring hate to the individual people by any means. It's just some of your guys' takes. Not all. Because we actually, believe it or not, we have found some good, decent takes on the forum in the past. It has been very few, but we have found some. But yeah, I mean, like, some of you guys just, I wish you guys get some hugs and wish you guys build some self-confidence and live a better life. Because, yeah, just don't stay online, all right? Staying online is going to nurture this mentality sometimes. But anyways, I love you guys so much, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!